Warning: viewer discretion is advised. Hi friends, welcome to Meals To Unalive For, where we talk about a true crime case and I make a meal from scratch. I'm your host Jody Breton, and if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Today we're doing a mini episode. So a couple weeks ago, I decided to do a whole case on the Hearst family, and I came across this one portion of their family history where Patricia Hearst was kidnapped by a cult, and I decided to go down the rabbit hole in that. So let me share with you what I found. So the cult in question is called the Symbionese Liberation Army, and it was founded in 1973. Now, there are three main members of this cult, and it never really generated a ton of people. I think when we think of cult, we think of this mass amount of people, but there was only 22 people or less in this cult at any given time. This also all takes place in the Bay Area of California. So, the founder of the SLA is Donald DeFreeze, and he has a long history of offenses like robbing a bank, kidnapping a synagogue caretaker, and having a homemade bomb. Donald was arrested November 17th, 1969, after a gunfight with police outside of a bank in Los Angeles. He was also convicted in 1970, where he committed stealing a $1,000 cashier's check and was sentenced to 6 to 14 years, and he was sent to the Vacaville prison. At the same time, Nancy Perry was a student at UC Berkeley and started volunteering at the prison where she would meet Donald. They became close and even had conjugal visits, which is basically unheard of. Donald would be transferred to the Soledad prison in 1972, but shortly thereafter, on March 5th, 1973, Donald escaped prison and heads to Oakland, California, to the home of Patricia Soltisil. This would end up being the foundation of the Symbionese cult, with Donald, Patricia, and Nancy all being the main founders of said cult. The group believed in a violent revolution against capitalism and the US government, solidarity with oppressed racial and economic groups, prisoner liberation and anti police ideology, and creating a new society based on their ideal beliefs. But unfortunately, the group was pretty disorganized and contradicted themselves constantly. On November 6, 1973, the SLA murdered Marcus Foster, the superintendent of Oakland schools, mistakenly believing that he supported student ID cards funded by the government. February 4th, 1974, the SLA kidnaps UC Berkeley student Patty Hearst from her apartment. The group demands the Hearst family fund millions of dollars worth of food to the poor, aka the SLA, but unfortunately they can't decide on the amount and it's very disorganized. In a surprising twist, on April 3rd, 1974, Patty announces that she joined the SLA, and in an audio recording she sent to the media, and that she took the new name Tanya. April 15th, 1974, the SLA robbed a bank and Patty was photographed holding a rifle. Then on May 17th, 1974, six core members die in a massive shootout and house fire, which included Nancy, Patricia, and Donald. So that marks the beginning of the end, especially with the three main proprietors of the cult dead. Patty was not one of the six, and she goes on the run for a little over a year with some of the remaining members and was finally arrested September 18th, 1975. And this pretty much was the official collapse of the cult, since almost all the members were either dead or incarcerated. As we know, Patty goes on to say that she was manipulated and had Stockholm syndrome and that she didn't actually want to do those things. Eventually, she was pardoned by the president at that time. And that was the history of the very short stint of the Symbionese Liberation Army. If you'd like to learn more about the Hearsts, I did a whole episode that's on my YouTube channel, link in bio. So for this episode, I decided to make a lentil loaf and an avocado chocolate mousse. And as you could tell, I wasn't too sure about the lentil loaf. I'll save you the time. It tasted like a refried bean cake, and it was like the equivalent of like, it was supposed to be like a vegetarian meatloaf, and the only way I can describe it is it's equivalent to, like, fruit cakes being compared to regular cakes, so it wasn't very good. The avocado chocolate mousse wasn't too bad, but I could still kinda taste the avocado in it, so the texture was actually pretty good, though.